Ageism is such a thing in the American culture, and it is quite different from other cultures. And I do not think I face ageism because I look younger than I actually am. And especially based on the hairstyles that I wear, you can tell how old I am, or you cannot tell how old I am. A lot of people think that you have said I should not say my age, and I respect that, and I try to follow that. Sometimes I say it because I live in a culture where respect standards are so different compared to the culture that I was born and raised in, where naturally, if you're a certain age and around people that are younger than you, they automatically give you respect. Or if you're in a position of authority, you automatically get respect no matter your age because of the authority that you have in that position. So in American cultures, I find that sometimes I have to state my age just to garner a little bit of respect. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but the point I'm trying to make is that when you are around 50-year-olds, 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, that look at you and they think that you're the exact same age with them or just slightly older than them, they tend to be very relaxed in how they address you, they talk to you, and all of that. And not always a problem because the community in which I am living is the norm to be able to be casual with everybody, whether the person is in authority or not, addressing people by their name, and yeah, and just talking casually to somebody in leadership positions. So with that in mind, I am not necessarily complaining. I'm basically thinking about how I addressed it in class today, and saying to my students that, look, this is how old I am. I am old enough to be your mother. Some of them were shocked, and some of them were like, and all of that. And I basically said, I'm not telling you this because I want to just tell you my age. I'm telling you this to make a cultural point. And the cultural point is that when you're in societies, it is important to know how respect flows in that society. What you might consider in your society as respectful might not be what is considered respectful in other societies. So talking back to me, calling me by my first name, is not respectful. Like most of my siblings don't call me by my first name. And even then, there are people that are older than me that still don't call me by my first name. So to have maybe a 21-year-old um, just calling me by my first name in a classroom setting, it's not tolerable. It's not tolerable. So you're either going to call me Dr. Okumbo, you're going to call me Professor Okumbo, because culturally that is what I prefer. And if they call me by my first name, I'm not going to throw a fit. But to me, it's a point of lack of respect and not understanding boundaries and not being able to um, navigate working with people from different cultures. It doesn't matter that it is the American culture. If I can tell you that I prefer you call me this or call me that, then it will be wise for the student to call me what I have told them to call me. And if I give them permission to call me by my first name, then they can do that. And even for me, the time people have given me permission to call them by their first name, but because I was not culturally raised like that, I still will not call them by their first name if they're older than me, right? Or if we're in a professional environment, and even if they're not older than me, but we're in a professional environment and they're in that position of authority, I still want to make sure that I give them the honor and the respect. So I don't generally call them by their first name. I would do, but I really try not to, because it just doesn't, I don't feel comfortable overall. And some other people, it's just a habit. And now I just call them that way, even if they give me the permission. It's become a habit with me. And all of it boils down to culture. And not just because of how old they are, but also because of the hierarchy that they project at that time, the power, the authority that they have at that time. It doesn't matter how old they are. And I am a fan of giving respect from the youngest to the oldest. There are times that I will assert my authority, especially if the younger person is being super disrespectful. I might assert my authority, but I am a very big fan of giving respect to all ages. So this is not an age thing only. It is a morality thing. It is a cultural thing, and it is a social. It's the way I was socially trained. Yeah, I was able to tell my students my age, and I'm not telling you. You can go look at, you can go find it for yourself. I'm not going to tell you. I am very honored that God had given me the ability to be the age that I am. I'm not unhappy about my age. I don't want to be any younger than I am. I take care of myself so that I will always be healthy. But the goal is not to pretend that I'm not the age that I am.